Derek Carr, you punted quarterback. Yeah. You don't like your matchup this week. Awesome.
Sick. Nice. Well, wait.
Let's see how long this takes. Oh, you got it.
There we go.
There we go.
So, yeah, maybe.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week 1 of the NFL season. Everything unfolded right in front of our eyes. It's Thursday, Sunday, and Monday. And to be quite honest with everybody, what episode is this? 6?
6.
I am not happy on episode 6. Because everybody I believed in stunk. I lost in pretty much all my leagues. In pretty miserable fashion, too. I had guys get knocked out in the second quarter. Multiple. And, yeah, I'm down. Bad. How about you guys?
Can you tell somebody at this table lost this week? Yeah. I'll tell you what, though. Not everybody that we said it turned out too bad this week. Now, I mean, we did miss on like CeeDee Lamb. Holy fuck, dude.
Like, how do you get targeted 11 times?
Holy shit.
And you come down with 2 of them?
Is CeeDee Lamb just not that good? Are we and this kind of breaks my heart because I have him on my dynasty team too. My first round pick, I was so happy to get him.
I don't think it's that he's not good. I think it's that now he has to get used to going up against number 1 corners. Last year, he had an unbelievable year because, really, to be honest, Amari Cooper was always drawing in the number 1 corner. Plus, Tampa Bay was doubling him a lot because they knew what routes he was taking. So the second he would run out, the corner would move. And then Winfield, I think's the safety's name, Antoine Winfield, is their safety. He would come in and then cover him, too. So he was having a rough one.
Tampa Bay's
defense is really good.
He was getting double quite a bit.
To be fair,
Dak stunk.
Yeah, Dak stunk.
Yeah.
The whole offense. I mean, they only scored 3 points, right?
Yeah, at home on a primetime game.
On a primetime game in week 1. Look, it's week 1. We have to remind ourselves that there are still 13 weeks.
Yeah, a lot
left.
could change.
This is also, in a way, our own preseason game or our own preview to our seasons of what we need to fix and take care of and keep an eye on moving forward because there was also an extra game added. So that's the way I view, it used to be 13 weeks and that's kind of how it was for 7 years for me. And then they added the next game. So
yeah.
And now
it's kind of like a freebie almost.
And now you have the whole year.
And now you have the whole year.
I mean, we've seen teams, we've been those teams before that have started out 0-4, 2-5, and have ripped off 7-8 wins and make the playoffs.
Yep.
And you just got to get in the playoffs.
And those teams did go on to win the championship.
They did. And you just got to get in the playoffs. Anything can happen. You can win the championship as the last seed. You just got to have a couple good weeks from your guys. It's just what it comes down to. And not everybody had a good week this week.
Look, there were a lot of players that I were high on that didn't pan out week 1, like Travis Etienne.
Holy shit,
incredibly
dude.
disappointed in him.
I'm very disappointed. I mean, look, it is only one game.
Incredibly disappointed.
You can't put all the... And look, what we say today should probably be taken with a grain of salt because we got 16 weeks left.
As a whole season.
Well, we're going to fucking say it anyway. Travis Etienne looked like fucking shit.
He did
on Sunday and dropped a wide open touchdown. I'm not going to act like Trevor Lawrence played well either.
But I will say he did have, on his touches, he had almost 10 a carry.
He did, and he was looking, really what killed him was just that horrible drop. Yeah, and it's after that, I just didn't really see him as much.
They didn't utilize
in the
him
game.
also.
And
I was surprised at the underutilization of Travis Etienne.
James Robinson looked fucking great, coming off a torn Achilles.
He wasn't too...
A fucking injury nobody's ever came off of. James Robinson looked like nothing happened. He was totally fine. 6 yards a carry.
Looking at the numbers, I don't know. I just feel like his day was valuable because of the touchdowns.
He did, but I will say he averaged 6 a carry too. Though,
I know, yeah. Well, you don't get points for how many
You don't,
per
but
yards
I'm just
per carry you
no,
get.
you don't. But I'm just saying in terms of efficiency. I mean,
I'm just worried, like, what... I'm not sure what the usage is going to be in Jacksonville moving forward.
it could change week to week.
It could. Like, next week, Travis Etienne could have 2 touchdowns. I don't know. I mean, he's probably the first player ever to come off a fucking injury like that.
And look
and
really good,
and look
actually.
really good.
Like,
Because Cam Akers did not look good.
Oh, and Cam Akers
looked
awful.
horrible
Not
coming
even
off that injury.
like not even useful at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
He had a donut. Just like Cole Kmet.
fucking
Devontae
donut,
Smith.
dude.
Devontae
Smith.
You know,
Cheerio. Like we had a lot of
AJ
guys.
Brown told us to go fuck ourselves.
Oh yeah, on the first
Because-
episode
like,
of
I'm
this
sorry.
show, yeah, we ripped. Well, not ripped into AJ Brown,
I didn't
but
look. I just didn't
we-
like his price.
No,
I didn't
nobody-
think Jalen Hurts could give him that kind of production. I didn't think he could. I've never seen Jalen Hurts like hyper target one player and give him like 12 targets, supporting like 10 catches there. When's the last time we ever had? We're Philadelphia fans, obviously.
a receiver do that.
When is the last time have we ever had a receiver go 10 and 150 in a game?
Did-
Terrell Owens?
Did Deshaun Jackson even do that?
No, I don't even think he had 10.
I don't.
Did
I
he
don't-
ever have
I
10
don't remember
catches
I
in a
seriously
game?
think the closest might have been Jeremy Maclin.
Maybe.
Seriously
But
think he might have been the
but-
I have
closest.
to look up his stats, but
It's been a long fucking time because we haven't seen that in Philadelphia. I'm just. Can he sustain that though?
I
Is
don't know,
also-
but I think he could.
I think he can.
I mean, he just looked.
He looked
elite
unreal
in
last
every
night.
sense of the word.
He looks like him and Jalen Hurts look like they have that
like a
Cooper
connection.
Kupp, Matt Stafford connection kind
Yeah.
of thing. Like you can always tell with these receivers and quarterbacks like Big Ben and Antonio Brown. It looks like I was so down on him, but Derek Carr and Devontae Adams, they look like they're in sync.
I will say, Devontae Adams
Derek
looked,
Carr still fucking
and-
he
sucks.
didn't miss a beat.
and I said it on this show too. We know who Devontae Adams is. We know what he can do. The question coming into the season was, will Derek Carr hyper target him like Aaron Rodgers did? And he fucking did. He had 17 targets.
I was
That's
shocked.
insane.
I also did like the production that Waller gave.
Yeah, it
I
was
felt-
solid. It was
I
very
felt
solid.
He was getting targeted downfield. I think it's only a matter of time for he gets a couple red zone targets, and I did like what I saw out of Darren Waller. It wasn't a great game, but for a tight end, 7 for 70 or 4 for 79,
You-
I take
You'll
that.
take that. And it's like Carr did trademark him a few times. You know, like there
Oh, I
was-
remember. I was so fucking pissed off.
It was in the end
I'm watching
zone
the
on
game.
one of
It's
them.
red zone. Scott Hansen tunes over to the fucking Raiders game, and what do you know? Darren Waller does like an out on the goal line,
It was a
and
nice route.
wide open. All Derek Carr had to do was throw the ball into his fucking hands, and what did he do? He throws it right in his fucking back.
Yep, throws it behind him, and I was like, "There it is."
Like
Yep,
thanks.
that's what I was watching all last season.
I mean, I can definitely say that Devontae Adams kind of told me to suck a cock because I really, I was off him. I really was, man. Like,
I wasn't
you saw,
off
I had
him,
in pretty much in every league I was in, I had the chance to draft him, and I said, yeah, no, fuck that.
Oh, we all did.
Really, because seriously, I really thought Derek Carr was just going to be the same old, oh, look, he's wide open, and he throws it to the kid in the stands. Like,
I just didn't think 17 targets.
No, I didn't.
nah,
Derek
there was
Carr.
no shot. I didn't think so. I mean, I can tell you right now, whoever has Josh Jacobs, though,
Oh,
Uh,
we were all right about that.
So
We
it's
could
just
have told
watch.
you that before the season.
We could have told you that
started.
last year.
Just if you draft Josh Jacobs in the middle of your draft, like from rounds 3 to 6,
Light your draft.
you might
pick
as
on
well
fire.
just take that draft pick and throw it in the trash. Even if you drafted Cam Akers, like Cam Akers went in the second round in our 14-teamer.
Yeah,
You just wasted a whole draft pick with that.
I think he
See,
went.
I just don't like go in near backfields where there's two, like, running backs. Jacksonville's different because it's Doug Peterson. He would have found a way to get both involved. But it's
Doug
like
Peterson loves committees.
that's
We
what I'm
know
saying.
that.
He'll find a way to get both involved. But like the Rams, no
also-
shot.
Doug Peterson also loves fucking passing, which
Yeah.
they did way more than they should have.
should
in my
just use
Christian
their
opinion.
Kirk
backs
had
way
a
more.
day.
They should have used both their running backs a lot more. Even James Robinson, like they should have used them both more. Christian Kirk did play very well, over 100 yards for him off 6 catches. Really good day for him. If you drafted him late, you might have got a value, but it's only week 1. Last year, Darren Waller week 1 had 20 targets. I think the next 4 weeks, he didn't even add up to 20 targets the next 4 weeks. So
that's the thing. Like, we got to pace ourselves and remind ourselves that many things can change. Like, I've seen Josh Jacobs score 33
week
1. It was only a couple years ago when that happened. And I remember some people were...
I had him in our league.
People were running to the bank with that. They were like,
oh, shit.
Josh Jacobs, running back 1 season is here.
Josh Jacobs the guy. And then 5 points, 6 points, 10 points, 4 points, 5 points.
He's touchdown dependent.
So you're really not going to know what you have in your players or your own team until probably week 5, week 4 maybe. Because the first few weeks, the NFL is also going through its own preseason because most teams sat their starters.
Yeah, they don't.
So it's going to be a lot of sloppy play. There's going to be guys that obviously don't have enough tape on them. They're not being game planned against. And like Sammy Watkins, prime example. He had 3 touchdowns week 1 when he was on the Chiefs.
And didn't do anything the rest of the year.
Nothing rest of the year. So don't jump to trade players. Like for example, I am extremely concerned about CeeDee Lamb. But I think it would be foolish
to sell him for...
What am I going to sell him for right now?
Yeah, you can't really sell him.
Because he's not worth anything because with his fucking 2 catch for 29-yard performance, that was fucking solid. So I guess I could get a bag of Skittles for that, but I don't think it'd be worth it.
I feel like you're still better off holding on to him and seeing rather than trading him for some mid player that's probably not going to help you that much. And who knows? Maybe
you could drop Cole Kmet. Nobody cares.
Yeah, I mean, like, pick up Pat Freiermuth if somehow he didn't get drafted.
Tight ends don't matter unless
they really
top.
don't. Who knows? Maybe in your league somebody dropped Zach Ertz because he was hurt. Maybe you could only maybe you pick him up.
And and Chris McCaffrey, even though I thought he was very disappointing, also
he was, but they also could have gotten him involved a little more than they did. They just decided they wanted to pass.
I wasn't disappointed in him because even though he only had 14 touches. Do you guys think Chris McCaffrey needs more than 14 touches?
I think he needs 20.
I think he does, but I think the issue is that they're worried. I really think that's what it's coming down to, is that they're scared and they're refusing to say that they're scared.
I will say that game,
might be.
They had a lot of turnovers and sacks and dropbacks. Like,
to be honest, why did we think that the Panthers would be so much better with Baker Mayfield?
Because he's the most competent quarterback they've had.
He is better than...
But like, is that really saying anything? Like, we've watched Sam Darnold the past 2 years, whatever.
Yeah, I guess
we've watched Cam Newton be a husk of himself.
Yeah.
There, like, Baker Mayfield is not good. And we saw that. No. He's not good. And I just think that it's a shame for DJ Moore. I don't think it's going to matter much for Christian McCaffrey. I think he's going to be fine. I think they're going to start doing what they used to do, throwing him screens, throwing him dump off. He's going to have 10 catches in a game. He's going to, I really think he'll be okay. Maybe they're trying to ease him into the season.
Could be.
He didn't play in the preseason. Maybe they're just trying to ease him into it. It's week 1.
He's their prized possession.
He is.
So he's the best player on probably the whole team.
Without he's one of the best players in football.
I really do think it's that they're scared because the amount of money that they're paying him. And they're looking at it as, if he gets hurt again, that's another year where we have no salary cap because we're paying an injured guy $15 million.
Well, also,
and fucked. You can't even trade him.
You can't do anything with that.
On the flip side of that, you're also paying this guy, so you do have to use him.
That's the thing too. Yep.
So I don't think so. Let's probably find a medium here. They're probably not going to go with only 14 total touches again. But they're probably not going to go up to 25, 30.
There was a few
I think
times,
20 touches is plenty.
There was a few times. Was it last year where he was out the entire year, or was it last year where he played 7 games and then he got hurt?
I think last year, what did he play, like 7 games?
It was when he played 7, right? Because if you go back, I forget the year.
He played 3, and then he missed 3.
And then he missed a couple.
And then he played 4, and then he missed the rest of the season.
Okay, so that's what it was.
I don't remember what week it all happened, but I'm pretty sure that's how it went.
During those games, he was only getting 14 to 15 carries. Most of his points were coming off of catches.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's a little concerning, too, is when it's bleeding over into next year.
Like, he only had 4 targets and 10 carries. So I'd be fine if he got 13 to 16 carries. That's fine, with a couple of those being goal line.
Right.
The important part, Chris McCaffrey's game is the receiving work.
Yeah.
So he can't only get 4 targets. He needs 8 to 10.
Yep.
I think that will come.
And I think that
too.
will
Like,
come.
I really do. Baker Mayfield is not good. He's going to be checking it down.
I think Christian McCaffrey looked good.
Yes,
I
I
don't
think
he
he'll be
looked
okay.
terrible. I don't think he looked washed or slow. When I said I was disappointed in the usage. I figure I didn't expect 38 touches, but I also didn't expect that little of volume yet.
Like, you want to talk about little volume when it comes to running backs? Aaron Jones.
Yeah, what the fuck happened with Aaron Jones?
I told you. I said it. It was going to be A.J. Dillon. I told you.
Who's looking like a steal in the 14-team league right now.
I think he had, 10 carries for 45 yards and a touchdown yesterday?
I could tell
or
you
something
right
like
now.
that. I think that's what it was.
I will say, though, if Green Bay knows what's good for them, like if they watch this game, like if Matt LaFleur watched this game this week, he needs to go into next week being like, all right, we need to run the ball more. Like, even A.J. Dillon, what'd you say? He had 10 carries?
He had 4.5
A.J. Dillon had
carry.
10 carries for 45 yards and a
even
touchdown,
that,
and
though,
Aaron
like-
Jones had 5 carries for almost 10 yards a
Like,
carry.
how do you have these
So-
two running backs? One you paid, by the way, and the other one you obviously believe in because you took him in the second round years ago, and you're still holding on to him and trying to get him. So you obviously believe in him.
Obviously.
So you're going to look, I get it. It's Aaron Rodgers. The first play of the game to Christian Watson told you all you needed to know. They need to run the ball more. Like, you are not none of these receivers, I think, are going to stand out. I think it's going to be a bunch of guys getting 5 targets a game.
At the
a
same
bunch of
time,
guys
though, that's
being
going to hurt the running game.
It will,
If
but
they
I
know
think
you
they
can't
need
throw
to,
it.
I think they need to run more, though.
This is another thing that's really interesting about A.J. Dillon. He had 6 targets.
Yeah,
Did he
and-
actually have 6 targets?
Yeah, and where were Aaron Jones?
6 targets, 5 catches. I'm pretty
yeah,
sure.
I'll say Aaron Jones is done.
Where were Aaron
It's
Jones'
over.
targets?
But
That's it.
That's also the other thing. We got to be careful with
Try
what
to
we're.
not panic.
Don't panic. Don't
Yeah, it could
don't
be
get
nothing.
cocky either. Don't be like, because it
Well,
happens all the
think-
time.
I think when it comes to Aaron Jones, though, you can get a little bit more worried because, to be honest, he is one of the running backs where normally we say he's touchdown dependent.
Well, this is where you
so
start.
It's like,
Jones did have 5 targets, but
thanks, man.
Thanks, Chris.
he had 5 targets, but still, like, this is a guy who's, been hurt before. Is Aaron Jones on the last year of his contract?
Yes,
you wanna do
he's a
mine,
free
Joe?
agent next year.
You're the fucking man, Chris.
You're such a look at him.
like,
Appreciate it.
Love him.
you're the.
But yeah, Aaron Jones, I'm pretty sure this is the last year of his contract. Yeah,
So who knows? Maybe you're right. Maybe they just don't care about
I
Aaron
think
Jones.
that's what it is. I think they're
Maybe
saying
it's
we're not
the
going to
A.J.
pay
Dillon
you,
show?
and we'll just take it. AJ Dillon. I mean, it is what it is. Like,
And whoever takes A.J. Dillon,
so far, it's looking like you got a steal in the draft if you
I'm
took
hoping.
AJ Dillon. So
Now,
but
remember,
they'll go
grain of
right back
salt.
to Aaron Jones next week. Don't worry, he'll get 12
Yeah,
targets.
remember, grain of salt, week 1.
Tread lightly.
You want to
Yeah.
talk about another disappointment? Kyle Pitts this week.
Ooh,
Now, I think he'll be fine. Kyle Pitts.
Allen Robinson too.
Oh my God, man, that was a
Kyle
rough one.
Pitts, Allen Robinson.
both out there just doing cardio. That's all it was.
Cardio.
Allen Robinson. I don't know if if they're just hyper targeting Cooper Kupp, if he's just not getting open. I don't know what it is, but
I love it how Sean McVay came out and said we need to get Allen Robinson more involved.
It's
No,
like you're the
no
coach.
fucking shit. Like, you're the coach. You targeted him what? Twice?
Like, do
Like,
it.
I
Do the thing.
The
Yeah,
fuck?
like, I do think the Rams will be trying to get him involved more. I don't think that he's gonna have one catch, next week.
No, he's gonna get it. They're gonna overcorrect it. I'm calling it right now. He's gonna have like fucking 15 targets.
I don't
He's
know
just
if he'll
gonna-
have 15 just because Cup exists.
Probably not that much, but like they're gonna target him. You'll see early in the game. They're making it a point to get Allen Robinson
7
the
to
ball.
8. I could see 9
I could say,
targets.
yeah,
maybe.
They're already
7, 8,
talking
9
about
targets.
it, and like Tyler Higbee. That's all. That's a trap pickup, by the way.
That's a trap.
Do not buy that.
Yeah, that was a blip. That was a blip in the radar. They rarely ever
They've never
target
used
tight
him,
ends.
and
Yeah,
he's been there for years.
that was a fucking anomaly. Don't pick him up. Don't.
He won't. Right, and it's like he's not gonna have 10 targets again. If anything, he'll have
No.
3 to 4, and then the rest go
Literally.
to Allen Robinson.
He's had
I
like
mean,
5 good games in his entire career. Like it's always like 3 for 50, 5 for 30. Like he's never gonna. He's not.
he's an okay
Forget about
tight
it.
end.
Forget about
Real
it. That's
football,
it.
he's an okay starter. In fantasy, unless you're in a really deep league, I would probably just fade him. To be honest, another guy I should have faded but didn't. Mike Williams. He's the same fucking player this year. Like,
Same player.
He's gonna be a weekly headache for you.
He should
He's-
only be a flex play, and you should know what you're getting out of
If
that.
you have a really good matchup and Mike Williams has a really bad one, I would consider benching him on certain weeks. I don't care what pick you spent on him. It's clear like Keenan Allen went out early in that game.
And Mike Williams didn't.
And we saw DeAndre Carter score a touchdown. And I think who else? Gerald Everett scored a touchdown.
Like I love these coaches and these organizations. Like you give these players all this money, and you don't fucking use them. Like it's like buying all these cars and you just leave them in your fucking garage. Like what is the point?
Yeah, I don't.
You're just gonna look at it. Like I like watching them on the bench.
Yeah.
Like they look good there.
I don't get it. They pay these guys. They don't use them. And, you know, look, he'll
have 50 next week.
You can't use guys every play, every week. I get that. But, I mean, you got to use the guy a little bit. Like, Like Javonte Williams last night. Like, he had a lot of catches. So he ended up having a good fantasy day, but like 7 carries?
I don't understand the thought process of, oh, hey, we're in the red zone. We know Javonte can catch. Put Boone in. What is the
put Melvin Gordon in? What
is the fucking point?
So that is the one thing that really upset me this week is the Broncos. Like, you have this stud, this stallion, this fucking thoroughbred, like this fucking monster of a man in your backfield, and you decide to bring in a bag of fucking dust to carry the load for you. Melvin Gordon should not get more carries than Javonte Williams. Period. I don't give a fuck what the situation is. You don't do that, Nathaniel. Figure it the fuck out, man.
You saw it last night, too. Every time Javonte touched the ball, 8 yards, 10 yards,
Seriously,
12 yards, 7
how are
yards.
You on the fucking sideline
Melvin Gordon.
watching this?
Melvin Gordon touches the ball 4 yards, 5 yards, 3 yards. Like,
it's like,
what? Like,
whoa.
Are we watching the same game?
We should give the best players the ball.
Literally. It pisses me off because I fucking have him in a lot of leagues.
I was counting on him like to pull a win out for me, and he missed it by like 5 points. But like, if you gave the carries from fucking Melvin Gordon to Javonte Williams,
I bet they win.
I win.
I bet
and
they
I'm in
win.
a better mood today.
Oh, if he does that, they probably drop. He probably has like 30 points. He had 19 without doing all that.
No, but I was going to say the Broncos would have won that game.
They would have won.
Like the Broncos lost by 1 point last night.
So I'm glad they lost.
So am I. I am glad they
Russell.
lost too. That's what they get for getting fucking cute.
Yep.
You know, look. I get Javonte fumbled down at the goal line. What are you gonna do? It happens.
Melvin Gordon did the
Whatever.
same fucking
Melvin Gordon
thing.
fucking fumbled too.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I don't know. If I were Nathaniel Hackett, I'd be looking over the game tape and being like, look, we got to find a way to get Javonte Williams more time. Now look, he had a lot of receptions, which was very great to see.
I did like that.
If you have him in fantasy, that's awesome to see. So imagine he gets up to like 15 carries. He could be like, you know, Deandre Swift had 15 carries this week, and he still had 140 yards.
Give him the keys.
You know, like, he's good enough to get 15 carries and have over 100 yards. Like, he can do it.
Give him the keys.
They
Nathaniel,
need to.
give him the keys.
Like, he's arguably your best player on offense. He certainly looked the best out of all their players. He looked the most explosive. He was making things happen almost every time he got the ball.
He had 11 catches last night.
Yeah, like that's
12
elite.
targets.
That's incredible.
11 catches?
11 catches on 12 targets last night for 60-something yards.
I thought he had 9. Shit. Well,
would have been 12, but no. Fucking boom.
Like, and it's, look, like, I get he can't play every single down, but like, it's like you said, Brian, there's no world where Melvin Gordon should be getting where he should be getting more carries than Javonte Williams. You use a second round pick on the guy. At that point, what's the point? Like, you know?
I don't know. Like, I don't want to say like fans know more than coaches, but like,
no, we don't.
There's some cases where it's like, what are you doing?
You have a guy who could finish in the NFL, like not even talking fantasy-wise. Javonte Williams, if they give him the ball correctly, he could finish as a top 3 running back in the league.
And like, that's the thing.
He
like,
easily could. He could finish as, well, I won't say the one because, well, you know, Barkley decided to be Barkley again, so that's good.
Oh,
but
well, we'll get to
that.
Oh,
but
okay.
Like, I don't understand it. Like, okay, I get it. You are kind of paying Melvin Gordon at the same time, but it's like, dude, like, literally, like you said, there's this shiny toy right in front of you. Just fucking use it, dude. Like,
right. Like,
and it's not even like the one looked better than the other. Javonte Williams literally looked like their best
Blatantly.
offensive
And
player last
was
night.
on like the
Like-
numbers wise too. He was just getting 10 a carry.
7 carries. What do you have?
breaking,
44
yeah, he was
yards.
breaking tackles, slipping out of tackles, fucking telling people to get off me. Like, it was a bunch of shit. And then you got Melvin Gordon who's just, all right, I'm going to make 5 jukes and then get tackled for a loss. Like,
Melvin Gordon looked a little, like, not like drastically, but
Disgusting.
a little slower.
it's like I said
Dude.
earlier, like, he looks shifty, but his speed, it's like you said, like, he's not looking like he normally looks.
He still looked good for being his age and having, you know, the tread on his tires that he has. But you got to give Javonte Williams the ball a little more, in my opinion. I mean, look, you know, 7 carries, 11 catches. That's still 18 touches. That's still a lot. But I just think if you want to win the game, he's got to get 20 or more, you know? And
He's
like,
got to get 25.
He should, he should be getting.
He's young.
25
He should
at
be
least like 20 rushing attempts alone. And then if you want to throw in the ball a few times, go ahead.
He
But-
should
does
be
have
getting
juice.
Jonathan Taylor's workload.
Oh, absolutely.
That's
he
the
should.
kind of player he can be.
absolutely
I mean, he
should.
is young. So, I mean, you're right in that. It's like maybe they're trying to preserve him for the whole season. And
I
like,
know, but it's like,
but-
how long are you going to preserve him for?
Right. I mean, and like we said, it's only week 1. So Javonte could come out next week, 30 touches. You know,
That's
like,
probably what's going to happen. So that's what I'm saying. Like, tread lightly.
Yeah.
Because this is an old tale of a personal story of mine. Back in 2019, we all remember Christian McCaffrey's record-breaking season when he set record for receptions for a running back. He was just phenomenal. But week 1 that year against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he scored 7 points.
Yep.
I wasn't smart, and I traded him. Now, I didn't trade him for trash. I swapped him for Saquon Barkley that year, which at the time was like, okay, whatever, kind of cancels out. But then Christian McCaffrey went on to do his thing.
Yep.
Saquon Barkley went on to rip up his knee, and I was left holding the bag and sucking my thumb. So just don't flip your team over after 1 week. Stick it through.
don't trade 1 elite guy for 3 okay guys. Don't fucking do that
Don't
shit.
do that shit because
You're
it
making
changes
somebody
the
else
outcome.
better
Yep.
every single time, and you're making yourself worse.
That one elite guy literally can be those 3 guys
Like,
just by himself.
That
so,
can
So
put a
just
team over the
Hold
top.
him.
yep. Just hold him.
Because this is where I'd rather focus on picking up waiver guys the first few weeks than
Literally.
worrying
Yep.
about any trades, because some of these guys off the waiver wires, they can be fantasy contributors for the rest of the
Yeah.
season. Like Curtis Samuel, he had 11 targets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
touchdown yesterday too, didn't he? Or
And
did
a
he drop
touchdown.
it? He did have the
do
touchdown.
you think that the Commanders' offense can be okay?
I do.
I think
But
they'll
do
be
you think
losing.
Do you think
You
we're
gotta wait and
seeing the
see.
Carson Wentz renaissance?
Well, you got to wait and see because
Right
it is
now.
Jacksonville.
True.
So-
Jacksonville. So it's
Yeah.
like you can't really put too much stock in it. But I will say Carson Wentz was throwing really well.
Well, I think it's because
That
they
was.
finally said, all right, go ahead and throw it. Like, how many times has he broken 300 in his career and passed for 4 touchdowns?
I don't
I don't
think
Has he
think
even
he's-
done that?
I don't think he's done
I don't
that
think
a
he's
lot.
ever.
Has he ever thrown 4 touchdowns? Did he even do that the year he went off for us?
I think
He threw. He
Yeah,
threw
I think
4
he threw
touchdowns in a
4
game
one time, but he
before.
normally
In a game?
only has like 250 yards and like 3 touchdowns or something like that.
He's never done like 304.
He was.
I don't think.
He was
No, I don't think
not
he
throwing
has.
a lot of interceptions either that year. He had with us,
But I
he did still have 2 picks last night. But who cares? Josh Allen had 2 picks on Thursday night.
Matt Stafford had 3.
Yeah,
Joe
so
Burrow
who
had
cares?
4 and a fumble. Like,
that.
I don't
what-
want to talk about that. He's
what
the
the
reason I
hell
lost in
happened
2
there?
leagues. Like, I don't even want to talk about
5
that.
turnovers.
What happened
Super Bowl
there?
hangover.
Look at the Rams and Bengals. They both lost, and they both turned the ball over a shit ton. So I
No,
don't
like,
know
I'm actually like,
what
I'm,
they
I'm
did there
pissed.
in their off season, but
So I will say, the Commanders play Detroit next week.
No,
So,
well, I'll say that's 4 touchdowns.
so
again.
if you need a streaming QB, if your QB was Matt Stafford and you maybe don't
Yeah.
feel comfortable, and if
kind of ugly.
you had
Carson Wentz, though.
maybe you punted quarterback in your draft and you don't really like maybe you took Derek Carr, you punted quarterback, you don't like your matchup this week. Awesome.
Sick.
Nice.
And,
Well, wait.
Let's see how long this takes. Oh, you got it.
There we go.
There we go.
So
Thank you.
yeah, maybe.
All right.
Is this guy fucking serious?
So maybe you add Carson Wentz this week.
I don't think he agrees with your take.
Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he
No,
fucking
I mean,
hates
look,
Carson Wentz.
I do agree with that. I say if you need a QB, like if you're worried about Matt Stafford or somebody, absolutely get him this week. And then if he does again next week what he did this week, you got to think about starting him.
Yeah.
Right now he's the QB3.
Maybe your quarterback was Trey Lance.
I'll say
this
this.
week. Like,
Exactly.
And
I'll say this.
you got to wait.
But what's his schedule look like?
Carson Wentz, he just played Jacksonville. He plays Detroit, Philadelphia, then Dallas, then Tennessee.
So that's 4 or 5
Then
good
Chicago.
matchups in a row.
That's potentially
very good matchup.
5 to 6. I don't know. I'm
Now,
not
it
sure
is-
Chicago's very good defense.
Now it is Carson Wentz, so he still can come out and just blow next week.
But as a streamer, if you really seriously, like, let's say
Superflex league.
Superflex,
Yeah.
let's say you have Trey
QB
Lance.
league too.
Let's say you have Trey
Yes.
Lance and you're not very confident in him and you can just store him on your bench. You can use Carson Wentz as like a stopgap or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
All-
kind of like a plug and play.
Yeah, I can see
'Cause
him being
Detroit
decent
next week,
enough.
I think that could be one of those games where it could be ridiculously good for fantasy.
First of all, if Detroit ends up being a really good offense this year and a bad defense,
Oh man.
dude, I'm salivating for,
Amon-Ra
for
and
DeAndre
Swift.
Like if they are just constantly trying to get back in the game, like they were against the Eagles last week or this week, I mean,
Yeah.
like
And
DeAndre Swift had 15 carries and 140 yards.
Yeah, it was just a
Like, he
pissing
doesn't
contest
even
between
need
running
a
backs for the
lot.
RB1.
I'm pretty sure this is the 5th or 6th straight game that Amon-Ra's had a touchdown.
I think it is
think
as well.
it is.
If you
I
go
think
back
it's
to
6.
last year,
Dating back to last year, the end of last year.
he also had 8 catches.
Well, he also scared the shit
As
out of
well.
me because he had nothing in the first half,
think he
and then
had
the
12
second half is when he
targets.
started
12
snapping.
targets. This 8 catch. I'm actually gonna because I don't want to be wrong. I know he had 8
I
catches.
think it was
'cause
like
he's in
what,
my
8
lineup.
catches for like 60-something yards and a touchdown or something like
I
that?
know the
Something like that, yeah.
yards
He
per
had like 19
He
points.
didn't have a
He didn't have- it
high
wasn't like
yardage
a-
game.
8 catches, 64 yards, touchdown, 12 targets. Look, his yards per catch hasn't been great even since last season, but he's a slot receiver. So if he's gonna keep, I'll take 8, 9, 10 catches for fucking 60 yards in fantasy. Like that's still a good week. Like in a 14-team league, you take what you can get. So that's where I
Yeah, you
have
do.
him. Like
I think Amon-Ra, moving forward, I think he's going to be a very solid flex for the rest of the
fringe
season.
wide receiver 2, maybe.
Look, because
They're
they're going to be down. He's a good receiver himself. He's not.
Yeah.
He's talented. He's not some scrub. He's going to be getting his targets. They're going to be down,
No, absolutely.
and chemistry is always important in fantasy because you saw what happened with Derek Carr and Devontae Adams. Even though Derek Carr isn't that great,
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams can
Still
still go
himself.
off getting by just having that chemistry. Jalen Hurts can't be that great as a passer, but can still have that connection with AJ Brown. And also another receiver who, with his newfound connection, Michael Pittman.
Oh, he looked
He,
elite.
I'm glad I was right about that one.
Yeah.
because he looked everything I hoped.
And it's like everything that was being said. Matt Ryan hyper targeting the number 1
13
receiver
targets.
again.
He had what, 8 receptions for like 110 yards and a touchdown? Oh, it was 9. Okay.
13 targets, 9 catches, 121 yards, and a touchdown.
Michael Pittman looked amazing.
Which I forget what tweet it was, but apparently all those stats are either career highs or tied for a career high in the first game with Matt Ryan.
Best QB he's ever had, in my opinion, at least. Well, Carson Wentz might have something to say about that this year.
Matt
but we'll have to
Ryan
see.
is an
We'll have to
upgrade
see.
over Carson Wentz in Indy.
as of right now.
Carson Wentz is an upgrade over Taylor Heineke in Washington.
100%.
I feel like
So-
Ryan just fits that scheme better than Wentz did. That's
I
really what I
think
think
so.
it comes down to is they're in better schemes now.
Well, they either need like a Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes quarterback in Indy or a game manager because
Yeah.
that team is kind of built to win.
Yeah.
So
You got
they're
and,
trying everything. They're
gonna
bring back Peyton Manning at some point.
No, I'm sure they will.
fucking elite receiver, elite running back. elite offensive line.
Great defense.
Defense
great
is very
coaching.
good.
Poor division.
Seriously, like
nobody in the AFC South won. And 2 of them played each other.
is it possible that that's the division where like the 8-win playoff team comes from?
Probably.
Yeah.
This year.
I think you can see a 9-8, 8-9 division winner in that.
Because at the end of the day, this isn't MVP Matt Ryan anymore. So it's still going to be great for fantasy, but in terms of winning, JT was himself.
Yeah. Let's go over to players that were exactly themselves.
Himself.
Justin Jefferson.
Himself. Everything we expected.
Saquon Barkley back to normal.
Oh, Saquon
Diggs.
Barkley.
Barkley went off.
God.
Diggs right back to normal.
Cooper Kupp, him picked up right where he left off.
Pat Mahomes looks better than without Tyreek.
What do you have? 5 touchdowns?
5
5
yesterday?
touchdowns. He had 37 points. I'm just leading off the point leaders in our league.
All right,
Cooper
so,
Kupp, still Cooper Kupp. Josh Allen, still Josh Allen. Devontae Adams, new team, still Devontae Adams. Taylor, Jamar Chase.
Every single receiver, as of right now, you didn't go wrong. No matter who you picked high.
Seems like most of the running backs too so far. Like all the first round picks look like they've hit where they're supposed to hit.
Now Najee
but
looked
everything
okay.
else-
Najee.
Everything else. Whew.
Najee looked okay, then he got hurt, which is unfortunate. He actually is supposed. There's an outside chance he plays next week. Apparently, is what so. Who knows? Maybe he'll be back sooner than expected. I want to talk about Saquon motherfucking Barkley.
He
okay?
looked unbelievable yesterday.
Fucking advocating. I have believed. He said, "Stay on your side." I've stayed on my side. I have been with this motherfucker this whole summer, and he showed out. 18 carries, 164 yards, a touchdown, 7 targets, 6 catches. The RB1 this week. Can he keep it up? I don't know. He plays Carolina next week.
That's
then the
30.
Cowboys.
That's
Then
30.
Chicago at home, by the way. The Giants are home that game. At the Packers, who just gave up, who looked terrible. Fuck it. I believe he can be great this whole year. He just needs, we know he just needs to stay healthy. That's all it is. And he had fucking elite usage, 24 touches. Giants are bad. He still had 6 catches, 7 targets out of the backfield. Daniel Jones is not good. He's going to be checking it down. They were looking for Saquon in the red zone passing. They threw it through him on a wheel route. It got picked. Whatever. It's not always going to get picked.
Nope.
It's just, he was everything that we saw in his first season. He was, and he's back as of right now. Now he's just got to stay up. Maybe next week he gets hurt. He goes down, whatever. He's back until he gets hurt. This was the best game he's had in 2 seasons.
Yeah.
He
I 100% agree with you.
A 100% elite bell cow. He'll be a top 5 pick next year if he keeps this up.
And that's when we don't draft him.
No. Don't draft Saquon next year.
Yeah,
because
but this year, ride it out, baby.
They're going to feed him.
They're going to feed him.
They have nobody on their offense. Kadarius Toney looked good when he got his touches, but he wasn't as involved as maybe we thought he would be. But Saquon was easily the most involved player. He turned the game around for the Giants.
Yep.
He looked like
he
himself.
won the game for him.
He basically won the game for that. He looked incredible. If you got him in the 2nd or 3rd round, you are salivating right now. You just got to hope that he stays healthy. That's all it comes down to. But you could say that with anybody.
And another guy that I was excited to see this Sunday was my fantasy MVP this year was Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Who had 17 carries.
90 yards.
90 yards.
Finishes the QB 5, I think, without a passing touchdown.
Without a passing touchdown. And look, I think he's due for some positive regression. I think he will throw touchdowns this year.
Yeah, absolutely will.
But the rushing is still there. He's still getting the points for it. And look at this. His schedule moving forward, he plays Minnesota, Washington, Jacksonville, Arizona, Dallas.
And those are all games that could be high-scoring shift fests.
He could, by week 8, which is Pittsburgh, that'll be a rough game. But by week 8, he could be standing as the QB1, I feel. Because it's hard to be ranked the 1 because everybody played and played well the first week. So the rankings are kind of mumbo-jumboed right now. But I think by mid-season, after this stretch they're here, he'll be the quarterback one.
Jalen Hurts, too. It's like you said, he didn't even throw a touchdown.
Didn't even throw a touchdown.
Nope.
And I think he had the same amount of points as Lamar did this week, who threw 3 touchdowns.
He had 1 point less than Lamar.
1 point less than Lamar.
And Lamar got a bonus, actually, because he threw like a long bomb.
Like a fucking bomb.
So he actually, without bonus leagues, he scored less than Jalen Hurts.
And Jalen Hurts didn't throw a TD. And that's what everybody's been raving about with him. The whole is just the rushing. I believe 17 carries, that has to have been the most. This week, Trey Lance had 1.
That's not happening again, though. 17 carries on the ground.
That is a lot.
Oh, yeah, there's no way.
It'll probably go back down to 10, but
it's still great.
He is such a smooth runner, man.
He's
I'm
a great
telling
runner.
You, when I see him roll out, I just get so excited because I know it's just going to be 10 yards. That's a point automatically because when you're quarterback in fantasy, 25 passing yards is 1 point, but 10 rushing yards is 1 point. So I'm taking this shit every day.
And you're very happy right now if you decided to pass on Lamar or Kyler Murray or even Joe Burrow was going in that range at one point, like the 4th, 5th round range. If you passed on those guys for Jalen Hurts, you're very happy right now. He's been advertised. He's everything he's been advertised to be. Great rushing quarterback, great for fantasy. We love those guys. And A.J. Brown looked totally elite too. So we touched on him earlier, but he looked great.
He should have went in the 3rd round. I was wrong.
Yep. Should have went in the 2nd.
His ADP was correct. He is everything we thought.
We were all wrong.
All of us.
But not wrong about everybody, though. So I know Tim had a specific guy that we gave him a little bit of shit for. Still too high, in my opinion. But
yeah.
Well, he's going to be solid.
Can't guard Mike.
He's going to be solid.
You're going to have to wait and see. Again, it is week 1. But, I mean, Jameis did target him
before we all run
to
the bank for their picks.
I mean, he did look good. He was beating the corner he was up against. Then again, it was A.J. Terrell, and he just kind of disappears whenever he actually has to face a wide receiver. So,
well, I will say A.J. Terrell, Pro Football Focus last year, I think he was graded as the best cornerback. I could be wrong. I don't know if he was top 5 or top, but I know he was graded very, very high by Pro Football Focus last year. So Michael Thomas won that matchup several times, beat him in the end zone for a touchdown.
2 touchdowns.
Was AJ Terrell on him for both touchdowns?
He was on him for
both. Beat him twice.
He had 5 receptions on 8 targets for 57 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And that's the thing. So, 8 targets is very encouraging for Michael Thomas. Jarvis Landry had a good game as well. That should be noted as well. But
the thing is, expect Mike Thomas to do this again next week, especially since they play Tampa Bay.
No,
and Tampa Bay do not expect him to do great next week. But also, Tampa Bay just ruins everyone. So,
like a lot of these guys that scored multiple touchdowns, like you take them away, like what is their week? You know what I mean?
His week was like 10 points.
You do have to have the skill to score a touchdown. I'm not going to completely take it away.
Right.
But when you saw it the one year with Todd Gurley,
when
he was just scoring touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. At one point, do the touchdowns go away? When is his touches and the yardage, are they helping you in fantasy?
True.
So
I don't know. We'll have to see with Mike Thomas.
Say, after Tampa Bay, though, he does play Carolina. That should be a pretty easy matchup.
That's pretty easy.
Minnesota, Seattle, and then the Bengals week 6. Minnesota's They did a good job yesterday with Green Bay, but Green Bay doesn't really have a wide receiver.
Why does Green Bay always shit the bed in week 1? Like
Green
every
Bay just
year.
always shits the bed against Minnesota. Justin Jefferson has a career every single time he plays Green Bay.
Maybe the tide's going to start turning in the NFC North. Maybe the Vikings are going to start owning Green Bay. But I will say Mike Thomas, if you take away his 2 touchdowns, 5 catches, 57 yards off 8 targets, hasn't played in 2 years against A.J. Terrell. He still would have had 10 points. That's a good flex play. I'll tell you what, I would have taken that over fucking Elijah Mitchell, who lasted 1 quarter.
Oh, God.
And fucking left the game. We should have seen that coming.
I guess we should have.
What is with San Francisco running backs and just dying?
We should have seen this coming.
We should have seen it coming.
Elijah Mitchell missed how many games last year?
We
should have. And I guarantee you, it's going to be some nobody. I guarantee
Jordan Mason's about to be a top 10 back.
Is going to end up. Nobody's going to. They're never going to use TDP.
Everybody's going to pick up Jeff Wilson this week.
Or even TDP, I bet.
Yeah. Everybody's going to pick him up, and then it's going to be some random fucking guy that's just going to win other people leagues.
Yet again, Tom gets fucking lucky.
Look, in all seriousness, I think it's going to be Debo pretty much. I think they're going to give like a lot of carries to Debo now.
You think that boosts up Brandon Ayuk a little bit?
I think it boosts up both of them
Both
to
of
be
them?
a big because Debo has the breakaway ability.
If you think Debo starts getting more carries.
Yeah, and I think that will help him because they will give Debo the ball down by the goal line. They did it last week or this week. I keep saying that. They did it all year last year. And we saw Debo rip off a lot of long touchdown runs. We saw him rip off 40-yard, 30-yard touchdowns. So I think him getting carries will actually help him. And I think you're right as well. I think it'll boost up Ayuk also.
So you guys want to get into any waiver pickups before we close out today?
Rex Burkhead, maybe.
I mean, like, there's no
if you're
running backs out here that like at least last year with Mitchell, he was like the rookie. He had the explosive game, and you could go out and drop all of your fab or burn your number one priority on them. This year or this week, you got Jeff Wilson, Rex Burkhead. In our league, there's Kenyon Drake and Damien Williams.
I think Kenyon Drake might be a okay pickup if you need a guy for 1 week. I mean, he did have 11 carries last week.
Kenyon Drake?
Yeah, he did have 11 carries.
He only had one target.
Which is not good, but
I'm going to stay away from the Las Vegas backfield because it just looks like the Patriots backfield from Josh McDaniels. It looks like a fucking mess.
Kenyon Drake is on Baltimore now.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Brandon Bolden. He's on Las Vegas.
He is on Las Vegas now.
He's on Las Vegas.
He was also playing. It's actually, we should note about Brandon Bolden. He was in there in the red zone for the Raiders.
He's going to be one of those guys. He's going to be annoying
for Josh Jacobs.
Like as a pickup this week. Like people are going to pick him up. They might flex him, and he's going to. Like he had 2 targets this week, but he turned that into a touchdown, so he had a nice day.
Yes, which is true.
I feel he's going to be one of those guys. You're going to pick him up, and then.
You said something earlier, Brian, I believe, about Curtis Samuel.
Samuel, I like him as a pickup this week. I would spend probably, depending on your needs, maybe 10 to 15% of your fab.
I mean, you never know. Maybe he turns out having a good connection.
25% maybe.
He did have 11 targets compared to McLaurin, who had 4.
Right, and maybe he ends up having a good connection with Carson Wentz. I mean, Terry McLaurin had 2 catches. One was a bomb touchdown, but he still had 2 catches.
And to name Carson Wentz's schedule moving forward, that's also the same for Curtis Samuel. So I don't know. Maybe Terry McLaurin's somebody that you can look into buying low within the next couple weeks. I don't prefer to trade within the first month, even, but some people tilt really hard, and you can take advantage and get some value, get some steals off people's teams.
Well, it was also another thing too. You got to remember, it was Jacksonville's defense, and McLaurin was going up against the number 1 corner.
Everything's going to unfold.
Do they still have Boye over there?
It's one of the young kids that they drafted. I can't remember if they drafted him last year or the year before.
Didn't they get rid of C.J. Henderson? Or
did they?
Or like they wanted to get rid of him?
I don't even.
I think he's still on the team. I think C.J. Henderson is still their number 1.
Jacksonville, look, start whoever against Jacksonville.
Literally.
But you never know. I mean, maybe Terry McLaurin. Look, there's only week 1. Maybe Curtis Samuel just has a better connection. Maybe they have more chemistry.
I wouldn't blow your fab on Curtis Samuel.
No, don't blow $100 on him.
But throw like $10, $15 on him, maybe $20, depending on your budget. I think he'd be a good stash. I wouldn't particularly start him next week. Maybe if you're in a pinch and you're like me and you lost 3 starters in one league, Keenan Allen, Elijah Mitchell, and T. Higgins. Unfortunately, Curtis Samuel could be somebody that you need to pick up if you lost a bunch of guys and flex him. Josh Palmer is also pick up.
Keenan Allen is going to miss time. And I think
Palmer's going to slot right into that role.
And I think DeAndre Carter is a little bit, I don't think you should really be picking him up. I think that he had 4 targets, 3 catches, 64 yards, a touchdown.
He's just the one guy that converted it to a touchdown.
I think Palmer a nice day.
Will end up with more volume moving forward. So by the time you're listening to this, hopefully you get some good pickups. Maybe some guys leave guys on the waiver wire.
I kind of
can add him.
like I don't know if he'll be on waivers in many leagues, but Robbie Anderson is on waivers in a bunch of leagues I'm in.
No.
He had a day yesterday.
Nope.
And
Nope.
the only reason why I think is because he did have 8 targets. He's on waivers. If you need a guy for 1 week,
Nope.
maybe,
He's just like Mike Williams.
he is.
He is just like
he's
Mike
a weekly
Williams.
headache. And
Same fucking thing.
less upside. Weekly
don't-
headache.
That's my opinion. You're fine. That's fine. You can have that opinion about Robbie Anderson. My opinion, stay the fuck away from him.
I think
is going
he can
to-
help you if you had a couple injuries this week. They say maybe you had T. Higgins on your team,
Yeah.
and you need a guy to throw in there.
Look, they'll be playing the Giants next week, so maybe. Like, you might as well kill yourself at that point if you got to start Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, I mean, he's not ideal, obviously, but
I know I would.
You
if I had
know,
to start him.
if you need a guy, who knows? Maybe that's a guy you can pick up, throw in for 1 week. Nicole Harmon, I'm staying away from.
Staying away from him.
I think the Chiefs are going to be, it's going to sound funny, but like a kind of a wide receiver core by committee this year. I think it's going to be all Travis Kelce.
True.
And then it's going to be a bunch of guys getting, just like we saw this week, 5 targets.
Yep.
6 targets. Like even Juju, to be honest, like 6 target, but then Travis Kelce is going to be the man.
I'm just, outside of Travis Kelce and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he was...
I don't think Clyde's going to do what he did
You don't think so?
Do you think that was a trap game by Clyde?
I don't know. I guess we'll have to see moving forward, but he might be back. Or he might be solid enough now.
Could be back.
He
back to
did
being
look
solid.
good. 2 touchdowns definitely inflated it a
Also,
bit.
another guy, like a deep wire ad, Zay Jones.
Yeah.
I was looking at him as
He had
well.
9 targets.
9 targets could be a safety blanket for Trevor Lawrence. We haven't seen Trevor Lawrence be particularly good yet.
I
so
feel like I've watched Zay Jones, and he's not a terrible receiver. Like I've seen him make like lots of just nice, tough possession catches. Like he could be a sneaky ad, like
now,
a safe play, like a Hunter Renfro,
There's another sneaky
like a
one
flex
too.
play.
like a flex play.
There's another sneaky one too that you could get, but again, I wouldn't really spend that much on them. I actually just realized this. We were talking mad shit on Breece Hall yesterday. He actually didn't do terrible. He did only have 9 points, but he had 10 targets
Who, Breece
coming
Hall?
out of the
He
backfield.
did have some
He had
targets.
6
yeah.
receptions for 38 yards. He did have 2 carries. He would have had double-digit points. However, he fumbled. Then again, it is Baltimore's defense.
I would say he's not
Their
going to
run
be
defense is always...
I don't think.
He's not going to be on waivers.
No.
He'll be out there somewhere in some leagues.
There's no way anybody dropped
No.
him after 1 week. If you did, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah,
My
if you
opinion,
drop Breece
dropped
Hall
him
after 1 week, but
Now,
there are people like that.
I want to. Sorry,
dropped
go
him.
ahead, Brian.
I dropped Devonta Freeman after like 1
Yeah,
week.
you would drop him, pick him back up, drop him.
And then Nick
Yeah.
finally
if,
picked him
if
up.
Breece Hall's out there, I would absolutely get him because I feel like his production's only going to go up.
If somebody was dumb enough to drop him
Yeah.
after 1 week, I mean, I do want to talk about Michael Carter, though,
Yeah,
because
Go
Michael
for it.
Carter, if you drafted Michael Carter, you got him in like the double-digit rounds more than likely.
he could be a solid RB2.
He had 17 points in PPR this week.
Yep.
So, look, Michael Carter was good last year. He just would go down nonstop. Is it inevitable almost that he goes down? Maybe. But Breece Hall was a little encouraging. It was nice to see him get that receiving work, or at least
Yeah.
the target. He did have 6 catches.
They
Which was-
targeted running backs a lot. Running backs got a total of 19 targets last game. Michael Carter had 9 and Breece Hall had 10.
And that's
So-
really great for fans. And like if Michael Carter goes down at any point, Breece Hall, maybe he creeps in, maybe he gives you value with the receptions. I don't know if
Well-
anybody saw that coming really, but maybe that's how he gives you value.
This is also the thing. Robert Saleh came out and said that the earliest that Zach Wilson comes back is week 4 against Pittsburgh. That's the earliest.
And that's a terrible matchup too.
But that means he's saying that's the earliest. Like that could be later
Yep.
than that. Then he comes back. So you got Joe Flacco dumping it off to these 2 backs. I think you got solid RB2s, and if one goes down, they turn into an RB1
I think
for
Joe
at least the first month.
No,
I think
100%.
Joe Flacco is an upgrade. Over
Yeah.
Zach.
For
For fantasy purposes, because Zach Wilson is a good runner as well. So we saw a couple times where like they'll run quarterback draws and read options with him in the red zone, and he'll take touchdowns
Yeah.
away from the running back.
Yep.
So
It won't be biblical.
I was a little disappointed in Elijah Moore. I was hoping to see a little more out of him. That was actually no pun intended.
That was-
I was hoping to see a little more out of him. He did have 7 targets, but 5 catches, 49 yards, no touchdowns.
I mean, again, it's the Jets. Like,
The Jets.
You can't really trust the Jets.
Next week he's playing
wouldn't.
Cleveland. He's probably going to be seeing a lot of Denzel Ward. I love Elijah Moore, but maybe we want to leave him on the bench next week.
then
Maybe.
I do have actually one question. Actually, finish what you were saying because I'm going to
No,
switch it to
that-
a different
that was-
team. So
That was everything.
now I have a question before we like wrap everything up. If you were in a league and you own both James Robinson and ETN, who do you start this week?
Just shoot me in the fucking mouth. at
Yeah,
that point.
that's just
Like-
a Russian roulette, basically.
Like I'm like in our league, I'm gonna roll out Michael Carter over ETN this week just to see.
I can't say I blame it. I mean,
I don't
because-
think you can start ETN this week. I think
Because
you have to
you
wait
just
and
don't
see.
know what they're gonna do. Because it could be James Robinson.
Unless you
After
have,
all,
I have a feeling it's going to be more or less of they're going to try to make ETN the receiving back, and then they're going to use James Robinson mainly to run
Well, that's what it
only
looked
at the
like.
goal line. Like he'll be the receiving goal line if he's fresh.
well, that's what it looked
they're-
like.
it
But
could
that's
end up
really what I
being
think
a
it's gonna be.
50-50 split between them.
It could be.
Maybe
you
it
never
will
know.
be, but at the same time, James Robinson looked very good yesterday.
He did have 2 total touchdowns. He had a receiving and a rushing.
He did
Also,
so-
to be correct, today's Tuesday.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh, that's
This
right.
was a
Today's
couple days
Tuesday.
ago.
Shit.
No,
Just
no, no,
Sunday he had. Yeah.
True.
He looked very good on Sunday. Very impressed. Watch him be, since we were just fucking bad mouthing him. Watch James Robinson be like the first player ever in like sports history to
Well, I
come
mean,
back
I
off
mean,
a torn
fucking hey, I
Achilles
hope
to
he
be
does. I
fair,
have him in a
Torn-
lot of leagues.
and just be himself. Like
He literally would be the first player to come back from an Achilles.
I've never
So,
seen
like,
a guy.
we're
do
just
this
going
in
off of
sports.
science. Like this was just a miracle.
Yeah,
If he does this all season.
like we've seen guys come back, but they're not the same.
Oh, it's especially
And-
worse for running backs.
Yeah, because you just lose your explosive. Now James Robinson looked like he had some juice
Yeah.
on Sunday, so maybe they're both fantasy relevant. Maybe James Robinson goes down at some point, and in that case, I think his value will go through the roof. But-
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised in that situation if Doug Peterson just found somebody else to fill, kind of like a Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt situation,
Yeah.
where when Kareem Hunt went down, we saw Dearness Johnson go in and take over the
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt role.
Like
they have
some
these
backfields
guys,
just have their
they're
jobs.
set to a certain role. Like they have a role in the team, and maybe ETN has his. He is still, technically, this is his first year.
Technically, yeah.
I get he kind of redshirted last year because of the torn ACL, but
Was it an ACL?
was it? Oh, no. He had some kind of
No, he had a
fucking-
Liz Frank.
Liz Frank, yeah. So he had that. He was out all last year. So basically a redshirt freshman year almost.
Right.
So this is like his first year in the league. He did look a little shell-shocked. That like he looked like the DB
He
on
coulda
that
had-
fucking
To be fair, though, he could have had 2 touchdowns. One he dropped, and then the other one, Trevor Lawrence just completely
Overthrew the wheel
overthrew it.
route.
So like we're just
So-
gonna have
We'll
to
have to
see.
see.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those things where you got to wait and see. I do think you do have to start James Robinson, though. Like, I'm definitely starting him this week.
A few
I don't
tight
have a
ends.
choice.
A few tight ends picking up. You want to get into that?
Yeah,
couple
might as well.
tight, and Pat Freiermuth.
Pat
definitely.
Freiermuth. I think he's the number 1 pickup.
Yep.
He had 10 targets.
Yeah.
That was an ugly game, but he's just. I think he's going to be a solid tight end moving forward. I think they're just going to target him. I think he's one of the better receivers on that team. He's somebody that you could probably blow 25 to 50% of your fab on, depending on your needs. I
Yep.
think he'll stay. Higbee, stay away from.
Yep.
Logan Thomas, I'd stay away from.
I would, too.
Robert Tonyan, probably stay away from him.
Yeah.
Hunter Henry, nope.
Do you want anybody on New England right
Dude,
now?
Not
like,
really, no. I mean,
they-
Damian Harris looked okay, but so did Ramondre Stevens.
And
So.
it's kind of ugly. But I was talking to you about this like a couple months ago.
Hayden Hurst.
Yeah.
Yep.
He
He
did
had
look good.
Had 8 targets.
8 targets.
Then
Now,
I gave you shit for that
you did.
when we talked about it.
Look, he's obviously not Travis Kelce. He's not even George Kittle when Kittle's healthy and getting the ball. But if you punt a tight end and you need a tight end, and he's going to get anywhere from 6 to 8 targets from Joe Burrow,
And it's like a Joe Burrow target is different from, because I'll tell you, say what you want about Joe Burrow, but
I don't even want to talk about him right now.
I mean, he still throws fucking bombs. Like,
Yeah,
he's still a good quarterback. He had a bad fucking game.
Yeah.
You know, he's
the reason I lost in one league and tied in another is because he threw 4 interceptions. I would be 4-1.
He did struggle.
I would be 4-1 if it wasn't. Or no, I'm sorry, I'd be 4-0-1 if it wasn't for that motherfucker.
It's
been a rough one.
Yeah, it was a rough week for a bunch of guys. You know, just I wouldn't panic. Yeah, you know, this is only week 1. I wouldn't be making any crazy trades because I know from experience, like, you can really fuck up your team with trades. Like, I have been someone who has made premature trades when you should have just.
We all have.
Yeah, and like you should have just stuck with your team, and you didn't. So, you know, that's just my philosophy.
We've seen it over and over again where you give your fortunes to someone else. Basically, that's it. Like Mike, he would have been a playoff team a couple years, but instead he gave his players away.
Decided to trade Leonard Fournette
2 weeks into the season,
Robbie
or
Anderson.
1 weekend, and you trade all these good players for shit players. And you propel somebody into a championship level because they basically got these players for free, and you are the bottom dweller.
That's literally what happened to me.
That's
how I got my championship.
Don't do it yet. Don't pull the trigger. Just relax.
Before we
That's it.
Start winding down here, there's one more guy that we didn't mention at all yet that I do just want to touch on. That was very, very disappointing this week. Damien Pierce.
Golly.
Well, you know what?
We should have seen.
It's our fault. We should have saw
it's
it
our
coming.
fault.
Because it's Houston, and it's Houston. Like, they're not. Come on.
3.3 yards per carry.
Same thing with the Jets. Like, we think Breece Hall was going to be this superstar right out the gate. It's still the Jets. Like, there's a ceiling to it. Like, they can have a great game, but how great is it?
Now that we say Damien Pierce fucking sucks, he'll come out and have like
No, I don't think he sucks.
game.
But Rex Burkhead, why the fuck is he getting?
The coaching staff did say, Lovie Smith did say we need to get Pierce a little more involved. But I will say Pierce, he averaged 3.3 carry, 1 target, 1 catch.
Oof.
You know, like on a bad
sometimes
team, kind of like at best going to be a 6-7 win team more than likely this year. You know, are you starting him next week?
No shot.
Like, I don't know if I
And they had a
can.
positive game script.
They did, and we thought that would have favored him.
Like,
to be honest.
they were tied. They tied.
And
They were fucking tied, and Damien Pierce did not affect the game at all.
And I mean, next week they're at Denver. You know, and that's always an ugly matchup for a guy. So
throw him right on the bench.
He's a 4th round pick, Damien Pierce. There was a stat I saw a while back. I don't remember what the stat exactly was, but basically 4th round running backs don't pan out very often. It's like Michael Carter is very surprising, actually, because he's also a 4th round pick. And I remember looking into Michael Carter and kind of being scared off of him because seeing all these stats, like 4th round running backs usually don't work out. It's the guys in the 2nd, 3rd round. It's the Alvin Kamara, the Dalvin Cook, you know, the Joe Mixon,
Jonathan Taylor,
the Jonathan
was in the
Taylor.
round.
You know, it's those guys.
Javonte Williams.
You know, it's these guys who, and it's actually notable. Javonte Williams and Michael Carter did go to the same school and come out the same year.
Yeah, and they were splitting carries.
And they were both good. So who knows? Maybe if Michael Carter had the backfield to himself, he's a higher pick. Who knows?
Yeah,
but
who knows?
Like Damien Pierce, I don't know. Again, we'll have to wait and see, but it's not encouraging at all what we saw.
No, but I guess you guys have anything else to add today?
I'm good.
I think we
I
got
think we got
it.
everything.
I think we touched on all the misery this week. And
A lot
we're
of
in stock
misery.
for more misery. Probably. I probably won't win. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, at least you weren't Tiny's team this week.
Oh, God.
Tiny might have had the worst week we've seen
Rest in piss, dude.
in our league since it started.
That's got to be the lowest score.
59 points. His highest score was Kyler Murray with 19.
Man.
Damn, dude. T. Higgins, Allen
Poor
Robinson.
fucking little guy.
Kamar. I'm sorry, Tiny. I do think he'll be okay, but
Poor little guy.
he had a bad week this week.
He had a bad week. Lots of people have bad weeks, but hey, we have 13 more.
Nope.
And
You're not out of the playoffs yet, so.
Yeah.
No, you're not out until the app mathematically eliminates you.
Yeah, you're not out until you're out.
We've seen
So,
crazier shit.
Don't give
happen.
up after 1 week. Don't trade your players after 1 week. Don't drop guys after 1 week. Some guys you can drop, but I'm pretty sure most people can figure out who they can drop. Like, don't drop Christian McCaffrey. Don't drop Travis Etienne. Don't drop CeeDee Lamb. Just
I wouldn't
hang
even
in
drop
there.
Damien Pierce.
don't drop Damien Pierce either.
There's no point.
Hang in there. Stay with us. And we'll tune in next week.
Yep.
Hopefully crank out some wins. And that is the Fantasy Buds podcast. Thank you for listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Tell your friends, tell your mothers, and we are out.
See you next time.
Sure.